Hello, it's me, Daryl, Florida Catholic guy. You're in my cigar.
Engine 44. Respond to
Thought I'd
assault.
make a video.
3928. Oak Hammock Drive. Cross streets are Southview Drive and Wild Oak Drive.
I guess I'll start with the war, the not war, the peace deal, the not so peace deal with Iran.
Engine 5. Respond to traffic accident. Initial response.
Well,
North 15th Street and East 130th Avenue.
this
Cross
deal is
streets are
a royal mess.
12998. North 15th Street.
I didn't like it when I heard it.
CLS 10. Respond to psychiatric. 1522. Visual Court. Joshua House.
But
Cross streets are Hannah Road.
I'm also not too happy with Israel either. Personally, I think Trump should have finished the job in Iran. Shouldn't have did this ceasefire, whatever it was, 50, 60 days ago. He should have blown the hell out of the IRGC. He should have blown the hell out of Cargill and all the speedboats that Iran has that were laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. And he should have just opened the strait by force. And because now that you allowed Iran to do this, and you're looking for peace deals, and the peace deal is opening up the Strait of Hormuz, that automatically means they control the Strait of Hormuz. And that's not acceptable. First of all, the Strait of Hormuz is international waters, no matter what Iran says. Just like, I think it's like 100 or 200 miles offshore is of the United States' international waters. You know, Russia has submarines right off our coast, whatever it is, 100 miles I think it is, off our coast. You know, they do a buffer zone to make sure they don't accidentally cross into our waters, you know. Like, I think it is 100 miles. Let's just say it is 100 miles. Russia will stay like 200 miles, you know, unless they're trying to be provocative. Then they'll, you know, cut it down to like within 20 to 50 miles, which is, you know, it's still international waters. We can't do nothing, but that causes our forces to go on a higher alert. So Iran can't control the Strait of Hormuz, but we're letting them. And, you know, Trump claims that we're going to get their nuclear material, but they're not going to give it up. They've already said they're not going to give it up. And just today, Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz for the second time. They closed it yesterday for, I think it was a few hours. And they closed it this morning and left it closed all day and say it's not opening up until Israel withdraws from Lebanon. So, of course, Israel's not going to withdraw, which that's the problem. But they say they are, but you know they're not. And I mean, they say I'm mad at Israel, and so is Trump. But on the same hand, yeah, I don't know who started shooting at who first, and Israel started shooting at Hezbollah first, or did Hezbollah start shooting at Israel first? I don't know. But Hezbollah, both Hezbollah and Iran said they would stop shooting at Israel if Israel cleared out of Lebanon. To me, that's a reasonable request. Do it. Keep the forces right on the Israeli side of the border. And if they start shooting missiles into Israel again, then we go right back in and wipe them out. But if Trump wants this peace plan to work, then even though I'm not crazy about it, we should be able to try it. And Netanyahu is over here saying, I'm going to go into Iran myself, and Israel's going to bomb all the hell, and they're going to bomb everybody. And well, I get it, but and I'm not even a fan of this peace thing, but if Trump isn't willing to do what needs to be done, then you gotta do something different, and that's what I think Trump's trying to do. I don't know if that's the ISS or a plane that's up there. Could be either one. Went over my roof on my sunroom, so whatever. But Israel should allow Trump to at least attempt the peace plan, and if Iran violates it after that, then I think Trump will be saying to Israel, let's all go in together and let's finish them off. But I don't think Trump wants to do that. In fact, I know Trump doesn't want to do that. And part of the reason is, and he said it himself, Trump said it, we only have 4 weeks worth of oil reserves. And the Strait of Hormuz being closed isn't going to help that. And also, we're running out of ammunition. Missiles, air defenses, we're critically low on them. And it's not just something we can, manufacture really fast. It's going to take time to replace all that. So I think Trump is aware of this, and I'm going to get to Russia, which that's popping off big time. And if we end up getting ourselves in a war with Russia, God help us, because that'll go nuclear. But he knows we're going to need, bombs and obviously air defenses. I don't know if we have anything that would, we might be able to shoot down a few of Russia's nukes if they shot them off toward us, but I don't want to live to whatever happens after that, I'll tell you that right now. If you've been following along, Ukraine has been absolutely knocking the hell out of Russia. They've been right in Moscow, taking out all their oil facilities. And, it's basically raining oil in Moscow, because so many oil refineries have been hit, and just not Moscow, other parts of Russia, like St. Petersburg and, you know, all these other places. You know, they're taking out all their oil refineries. And now Ukraine is doing a massive assault on Crimea. And I think they're trying to take out the Crimean Bridge, which that will just cut off everybody in Crimea so they can't get in or out. Won't be able to get supplies in. And already there's no gas or oil in Crimea because they can't bring it in. You know, they can't. You know, if they try to bring boats in, Ukraine blows them up. If they, you know, if they take out the bridge, they won't be able to ship it in by trucks. The rail lines have all blown to hell. So, actually, I think it was Lavrov that said they're going to use nukes. And Medvedev, of course, Medvedev threatens nukes every other day, but it's getting close because Russia's not going to put up with that. You know, their nuclear doctrine states that if a certain percentage of their oil production capabilities get destroyed, they have to use nukes against whoever's doing it. And at that point, you gotta hope they just stop with Ukraine, because they could just, you know, go into Europe and say, well, London, we're gonna hit some of your air bases too with some nukes. Because some of the European countries have already said that if Putin nukes Ukraine, then they're going to nuke Moscow. And of course, if anybody nukes Moscow, it's all over for all of us. Just like if Russia nuked Europe, I mean, that would lead to, because I think at that time Trump would have to step in, because we still have our military in European bases. Even though we've withdrawn some of them, we still have people there. So if Russia nukes a European base, our people are going to die too, so Trump's going to have to respond in kind. So I think right now Putin's trying to be the adult in the room by not using nukes, but the Russian people are actually demonstrating outside Kremlin, demanding that Putin use nukes on Ukraine. And that's a scary thought. But I don't blame them, because if Canada was blowing up all our oil refineries and, you know, blowing up our White House and New York City and everything, and, you know, taking out our infrastructure, and Trump did nothing, we would be demonstrating in front of the White House too, or what was left of it. So, you know, it's at that point. In fact, I heard it was just a rumor, but I heard a rumor that Zelensky was taken out, and I'm sure that's not true. I mean, that would be major news if that actually happened. But I don't think that happened. But It wouldn't surprise me if it does sometime, but
Respond to assault. 3928 Oak Hammock Drive. Cross streets are Southview Drive and Wild Oak Drive.
in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some of his own people took him out. Because, I mean, you can't mess with the bear and expect the bear not to claw back. And so far, Putin's responses have been measured. You know, he's done some pretty big attacks on Kiev, but he's stuck to mostly government buildings and, you know, some electrical targets, electrical grid targets, military and government buildings. I mean, there was a thing where a church was hit, I think it was in Kiev or one of the other places in Ukraine, but what that actually was is a Patriot missile that misfired and hit the church. And in fact, similar thing happened in Russia, where you can see the drone that was flying over Moscow, and they used one of those man-pad things to try to take out the drone, and the rocket from the man-pad, you know, missed the drone and slammed right into the oil tank, and the roof of the oil tank just went way up in the sky and overturned and came back down, and that was incredible. But I mean, stuff like that happens. I mean, and you know, all this happening in Russia is probably why Trump wants to get this thing in Iran over with. But with the way he's doing it, there's no other way to look at it than we lost. Because, you know, yeah, we destroyed a lot of their stuff there, but with the billions they're going to get back just from selling their oil, never mind whatever they get back from the deal, just being able to sell their oil, they'll be making billions again. And they're not going to use it to rebuild Iran. They're going to use it to rebuild their military, get more missiles, start enriching more uranium, and, you know, whatever else they're going to do. And I'm sure Russia and China are going to help them resupply. In fact, Medvedev said that I don't remember his exact quote, but it's something like, the Strait of Hormuz is Persia's nuclear weapon, and they will use it. And basically what that means is, by closing the Strait of Hormuz, they can put a hurt on all of us. And, you know, if we do anything to Iran, that's what they're going to do. At least until we do something about it, so they don't have control of the strait anymore. But
He just slammed the garage door in my face.
I don't know. It's a big mess. We should have just finished it off. We had the job almost complete. All he had to do probably was another 3-4 weeks, if that, of
She said I can go in there,
intense bombing.
I don't know where he
You know, how long was he threatening to do
He's circling from the back door.
bridge and power plant day, and he never did. If he done that, they would have been on their knees crying. You know, take out all their
32.
little boats there. We could have done that easily.
7413 Savannah Lane. Cross streets are back.
I mean, yeah, they're little and they can hide, but they can't hide that much. I mean, we gotta know where they are with the satellites we got. But you know, I know Trump is worried about, he does not want to kill civilians no matter what any of these doomers tell you, these crazy, they call themselves conservatives, Republicans, whatever. I think Dan Bongino calls them doomers. uh,
3 Juliet 47, 3 Juliet 17, 1047.
you know, they blame Israel for everything. And don't get me wrong, Israel isn't, a lot of times they're not helping us as much as they could. And I get it, they don't really want to make peace. They're actually on my side, that they want Iran dealt with for good. And I don't blame them. That's what I want too. But, you know, Israel has been bombing a lot of civilians. They just wiped out pretty much all of Gaza civilians. And they're doing the same in Lebanon now. And Trump is finally calling them out on that. And, you know, he basically said, you know, you don't have to blow up an entire building to get one or two Hamas guys. Well, I'm not sure we'd feel that way if, you know, I can see both sides. Because nobody wants civilians to get killed, but hold on.
Engine 25, Engine 30, Engine 26, Rescue 25, Tanker 25, Tanker 26, Ladder 32, Command on TAC 3, and Command on TAC 5. Respond to structure fire initial response. 3313, Rhines Road. Across the street. Cross streets are South Wiggins Road.
So, hold on 1 minute.
Engine 27, respond to Hammer's.
All right. Structure fire call. This is like the third one they had. They've had like 3 structure fires and a bad accident on 75 that was reported to be a body. I haven't confirmed whether anybody died or not, but that was a report. But, you know, if Hamas and Hezbollah were bombing our country nonstop, I mean, at some point we'd probably go in and wipe them out too, regardless of how many civilians we had to take out. I mean, you know, people are talking about nuking each other now. How much, even with the small tactical nukes, it's still a nuclear weapon, and even though it's more localized, it's still going to take out a certain number of civilians. Even if it's just a couple of kilotons, I mean, yeah, it won't destroy a city, but it'll destroy a neighborhood, a few neighborhoods. So, I don't know what's messed up. I'm trying to catch this to lock it in on the TAC channel here, but there we go.
Rhines Road. Be advised, this caller is calling from across the street. Possible address is going to be 2505 Wiggins Road. Going to be just north of this address. They advised that they heard an explosion coming from the back of the house, and they see a fire in the back of the house. Unknown if any solar panels are touched the building. Unknown if anyone is sick or injured at 2357 R. Okay, 6 copies. Thank you.
So, could be something, but I mean, sometimes, you got to make up your mind. Are you willing to take out a massive amount of civilians and win the war, or do you accept, whatever you can get in a deal to, and, the U.S. hit that school in Iran, killed a bunch of kids there, and they caught a whole bunch of heat for that. So you talk about that times 1,000 if you go in with, a massive bombing campaign. Because that's what Iran does. They put they're like Hezbollah, Hamas, all those people. They put all their military hardware in schools and hospitals and civilian areas. So if you're going to take them out, you got to take out the civilians too. Israel's willing to do that. Apparently Trump isn't. I don't blame him. Like I said, I'm not in his shoes. I don't have the info he does. Maybe he's doing the right thing. As far as I'm concerned, Iran is terrorist, and you don't negotiate with terrorists. But they are a country. They are the leaders of a country, and a country with something like, 50 million people, 20 million people. And you don't want to kill millions of civilians just, to take out the IRGC, I guess, And obviously he doesn't want to put ground troops in, because that would just be an absolute bloodbath. And
Engine 25 AC. Engine 25. Copy. Engine 25 is on scene. Looks like a fire in the backyard. We'll be investigating. Keep everyone coming at this time.
Fire in the backyard.
Keep fire in the backyard investigating. Continue all units at 2300.
But I think Trump has his limits too. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna allow Iran to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed. That's got to open up. And for now, they did get Israel to back down. I guess they're gonna.
25 AC. Go ahead. This will be an illegal burn. Engine 25 can't handle. You can cancel all other incoming.
Illegal burn. That's kind of what I thought when I heard that report.
Give up Pack 3 and there's Pack 1.
So.
Release Pack 3, switch back to Pack 1. 23.
I don't know, I'm supposed to.
The number is going to be 064390.
I'm supposed to hear about getting permission to go back to church this week. I was supposed to have a hearing Tuesday. I haven't heard anything about it. So I have to call my lawyer tomorrow. So, hopefully I'll get that, because that's been killing me, not being able to go to church since like February. And hopefully this whole issue should be coming to an end shortly. I mean, at least not to an end, but at least find out what I'm going to have to do, or do or not do. But I just wanted to make a video about the situation in Russia and the Middle East. Give an update on the local situation here. We've been hotter than all get out, 95, 100 degrees every day, humid, no rain. It's funny, May we had a decent amount of rain, and June we've had nothing. We've had nothing, and there's only 20-30% chance of rain for the next 7 days, so it's been drier than dry here. And it's, the thing that sucks is we only get down around 80 for a low, so you hear the air conditioner running all night, all day and night. And usually my electric bill during the worst of the summer runs around maybe $250. I was over $300, and it wasn't just me. It was almost everybody up here was complaining they're, between $50 and $100 more for their electric bill this month. So, and I'm having trouble with my air conditioning. I don't know if I have a coolant leak or not, but during the day, well, of course, I'm back to napping during the day, so I keep the air on 68 so I can sleep. And because whatever the air conditioner's set at, in my room it gets like 3 or 4 degrees warmer. So if I have it set at 68, at least during the day, it's like 72 in my room. But lately, if I have it set at 68 during the day, it won't go no lower than 70. And this is the first year it's done that. I don't know if it's because it's so hot outside it can't keep up, or if I have some kind of refrigerant leak, because I just had the what do you call it, capacitor. I just had the capacitor replaced, so it's not that. So, and they don't come for the annual service until August, so usually we get rain during the day that cools it down here, but we haven't got that this year. So I don't know. I wish we get something, because usually I get to turn the lawn sprinklers off during the summer, but I haven't been able to this year because we haven't had any rain. The only good thing is you can only run them once a week anyway, so it's not that bad. But, man. Well, I think I'm on 35 minutes, so I'm going to go. Good night. God bless you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.